Hello and welcome back, League Knights, to Game 2 of our Academy Semifinals series. FlyQuest are out to an early lead after a victory in Game 1. And throughout that game, Cloud9 had the early lead, but we just saw fight after fight after fight. And in those fights was a particular mistake that probably shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, if you got Xayah, you got a dodge ability button, and then there's a big Scion train pile driver thing coming right at you, and you don't press your button to dodge that. You get hit by it a couple fights in a row, which then allows the other people to hit you as well. That's a huge mistake. And so I think Keith had a number of team fights in that game that really hurt his team's chances. And the whole team wasn't playing well, so I don't want to obviously pin this all on Keith. But that was definitely one of the big mistakes, as well as the fact that with all those dives that were going on, they just were not clean enough. So not clean enough in the early game, and then their mid-game and late-game team fighting was also a little suspect, which is a big concern. But you also have to tip your hat to the guy on the other side of that interaction and know always finding people to hit. I mean, Scion Ultimate is one of the most telegraphed abilities in the game, and he was landing on everyone he aimed for. If he aimed for Keith, he got hit. If he aimed for Shiro, he got that hit, and that set up a number of kills in side lanes when Peck and Wolf would collapse in 2v1s, and then also the turns off Baron and these kinds of things. I mean, No had an absolutely fantastic game on that Scion pick, hitting an ability that most people cannot hit.
And that's one of the, that game has to feel good. We said this team needs to step up a bit alongside Meteos and what they have here. They've been in this spot before, but to pull that out and have Meteos kind of, as he said, you know, giving them the extra step, pushing them a little bit more forward, seems to be rubbing off a bit here.
Oh, yeah.
And while No, as I said, was able to fly under that radar, had big impact plays. So I think he gets a little more attention this game.
Definitely. Should get him onto a Scion Speedway and ALCS tonight, because that was a clean-looking Scion.
He was backing in some of those ults. He definitely got in there.
Some parallel parking.
We're going into Game 2 of picks and bans here. We do have FlyQuest over on to that Azul side, as C9 is now on red with the counter pick. What do they choose? Ooh, they say Peckenwolf, no Akali. We did see a little bit of love for that in the ban list last game, and she will be banned out for Game 2.
And Peckenwolf is definitely willing to play the Akali metagame. There's some champions that when they get picked, the champions you then play against them are substantially different than the typical champion pool. And so, you know, there was the GP metagame for a while where I take GP, you take Gnar, can you smash me hard enough? And that's kind of how the GP matchup always goes. You opt into that metagame. The Akali one's very similar, where you try and bully me really hard in lane, and if you don't, my mid game can take over, and so you start playing things like LeBlanc into it, or Galio and stuff like that. And so if you get rid of the Akali, you get rid of that whole champion pool that you then have to play as well.
Nocturne.
A lot of blue side Nocturne bans, because it feels like there's a higher priority pick that they have to take, and then that means that the Nocturne goes over to red side, no one wants to play against it. So pretty interesting to see how the meta has shaken out now with Aatrox getting dropped in the ban list later on.
Is this the Zoe then?
We'll see. I mean, they're picking between Aatrox and something else.
Yeah, for sure. The Jace. Okay, so they leave those two hot picks up.
I like it. I mean, the Zoe doesn't seem to be super high priority pick, though something that still gets taken from time to time.
Yeah.
But the Aatrox is interesting because we talk about No being this tank player, and C9 says, all right, if you want to play tanks, we'll leave Aatrox up and force you to pick it, or you're going to have to take a Poppy into it or something, and instead you see FlyQuest saying, nope, we don't play that Aatrox, so we'll take the Kindred first.
Kindred, Aatrox, Zoe, lots and lots of stuff here, and now it would be possibly that bot lane, so Keith doesn't get pinched. They can still get a mid laner for Golden Goo on the roundabout, so there's possible Kai'Sa. Take away a feel-good play from Game 1 for Ahri. As they hover, Kai'Sa is locked in for Keith for Game 2. From Xayah to Kai'Sa for him, and now we're looking at a possible jungler, but they may just grab their support.
We'll see what they go for. They have a lot of options here, but the thing that's interesting about it is you don't need to reach for that Aatrox pick if you don't think they play it. So I like the decision to not actually grab it here if they decide to go with either that jungler match, as it is the Gragas. I was going to say, one of Svenskaren's best champions, always has good games on it. The Predator keystone that a lot of people are starting to take unlocks an even more aggressive style with the champion to go flying in for those body slams. So I like what C9's done early on in the draft.
Back on them sprints.
Yeah, it's a very fast big man.
Yeah. The Drunken Rage. So we'll see on the side of FlyQuest Academy, Alistar locked in once again. That was so big for them. Quan getting that again has to feel good.
I think that's, you know, we talked a lot about the No interactions and the fact that Peckenwolf ended up with a ton of kills, and there it is.
Aatrox does get locked in.
Just as I was saying, I thought C9 letting that slip was potentially a good move. No, kind of punishes that right away. And suddenly, FlyQuest have a really annoying team comp to try and kill. You have someone with massive damage reduction built into the kit, someone who can keep everyone alive, and someone with a revive passive in your first 3 picks. And most of those are power picks, things that do not get punished at all for taking them early on.
How disgusting would it be if you were on the opposing team and you could actually, like, you go in, if you were Morgana shield, like a negative on a Lamb's Respite, so you don't get the heal save?
Oh,
that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Sorry if that was hard to follow, but
no, I know what you're saying.
That was
the Morgana shield's negation of status effects negates
you could put it on somebody.
The invulnerability.
God, that would be cool.
You would only kill your teammates in that instance. It would
well, no, yeah, because you always
can't target enemies with the black shield.
That's the whole point. You should be. So Fiora and Varus, as I tangent away on abilities that aren't actually in the game. And we have 2 more bans here from Cloud9 and FlyQuest to figure it out. So it's Airy getting hit as they take his Kaisa and Shiro with that Fiora.
Yeah, mismatch rolls a little bit here with the top side showing. So FlyQuest able to ban out some of those biggest counter picks on the top side. Very surprising to see Shiro not kind of reach for the Fiora right away, allowing that to hit the ban table here. Because that is kind of a Shiro champion, and it's one of the best picks into Aatrox.
Ashe as well.
So now FlyQuest pinching down on that, while C9 having the Kaisa locked in, getting rid of some of those stable, engaged laners that we see. And there's the Poppy ban as well. I really like how this draft has shaped up for FlyQuest so far.
Yeah, that was big denial for both Quan and No. Trying to dive in, a little pop for Meteos on that Kindred can be denied by Steadfast Presence, so Poppy is a very good all-around ban. Bring the brand damage. Let's go. Heat it up here in the semifinals. It's going to be Mundo for Shiro, a great safe pick who didn't even really get any love first game in picks or bans. And we'll see it here in Game 2.
Saw it Game 5 as a pick into the Aatrox out of CLG Academy last night. That was also a pick that went through the entire time. Mundo not seeing any tension. And then it actually had an okay laning phase. It did fall behind like a lot of matchups do into the Aatrox, but you generally perform better as a late game teamfight tank, and a lot of people are saying that the Aatrox tends to start falling off if he doesn't have enough of an influence over the early game. And then there's that Zoe pick we were talking about, still very potent apparently.
I want to say they obviously have crowd control, but not a lot of crazy crowd control. A lot of it's conditional on the side of Cloud9. They have to hit her, get the right spot, the good binding, the good cask, be in the right spot. A lot of movement can be had. A super slippery team here from FlyQuest. I think you put it the best way is annoying.
Oh yeah, resetting, jumps out of a fight, long range, snipes on damage. Lots of things for C9 here, but FlyQuest, excuse me, but I still think C9's comp looks pretty good.
Oh, absolutely.
I think last time, while I did think that they had a better teamfight comp, it wasn't completely synergistic teamfight comp. It was just like, oh, Ryze generally should outperform the Aurelion Soul in teamfights, and Zyra Khan's really good. This time there's a lot more synergies with the fact that the Mundo Gragas can go in, get followed up with the Orianna, and then the Kaisa can play safe backline the whole time with a Morgana shield on top of you, as well as an Orianna shield. So you really have a protect the hyper carry comp for Keith this time around, as well as having massive front line. So they'll have to get to that mid to late game though, because like we were saying, this is a very frustrating team comp, I believe, to play against in FlyQuest.
Fist bumps all around for C9, shaking off game 1. Never happened.
Scoreboard says otherwise.
Yeah. Until it's game 5, Mark.
Or game 3. I mean, we'll see. Last time, this is what happened. C9 was a massive favorite versus FlyQuest, and they came in.
Absolutely.
Had good games, but still lost 3-0 from behind a lot of time.
#FlyA win. #C9A win as we get into game 2 here of the semifinals between FlyQuest Academy and C9 Academy. And looking at Chronologic Gaming, what that game is going to be like. Tough. Wiggly says, I don't care. We can take either of these teams. Let's see if they can prove them wrong with a little bit more power play coming into this series.
Yeah, I think Wiggly's watching these games going, whew, it's not the 14-2 God mode C9 necessarily that we felt like we were seeing for a lot of the time in the Academy League. And one of those losses was to CLG, I believe, early week 1 before they kind of really figured out what was going on with C9. And then their other loss was against Golden Guardians, which was kind of one of those like, they might not have been 100% focused for that game. So, C9 was very close to looking undefeated basically in that season. And if you know that you might be playing up against them, or FlyQuest for that matter, at least you know that this match is closer than it looked on paper.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I mean, you show the scoreboard to anybody, and you'd have to really say, is this kind of a question? What aren't you telling me about, like, FlyQuest in that scenario? And it is. They have that kind of ace in their sleeve to figure out what C9 does wrong at the right time.
And interestingly, I was hyping up the Predator Gragas. We get the Aftershock Gragas. Make me a liar.
Nice. Now we can always hope. That's for the rest of the series. If we see it, point it out.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We also get the Morgana, a champion that's been seeing a lot of bans recently as a strong pick into some of the other meta supports. Morgana has pretty strong matchups into things like Braum, Tom Kench, Rakan, and so no surprise to see her getting banned out a lot of the time. Goes through here. Also good into Alistar if you avoid getting Headbutt Pulse comboed where it's on to both of you. You just need to Black Shield whoever it is closer to the Alistar and get ready to counter that as we see the Brush Camp classic.
Boom!
Look at that airy damage.
Tormented by the soil.
Well, we'll see how much we're laughing in 1 second here as Meteos goes
Oh
around.
boy, quick flash already. Quan goes in, he wants to get a tag onto Fang as well. He says, get out of here. First blood onto Keith. They hit him right away.
Instant punish by Meteos there, having a great series so far and a great start to game 2. We talk about champions who you don't expect to see level 2 ganks out of due to their lack of inherent CC, and Kindred is one of those, but goes for a really clever gank when combos with Juan having flash. And also, if that wasn't good enough, gets the pickup on the Scuttle Crab bounty.
Yeah, that was very nice. So a kill into a mark, the first one not being a mark for her.
Of course, you don't mark your target when you go for level 2 ganks like this because that is a huge telegraph. I mean, sometimes you do go for the mind game where you're like, oh, I'll mark you and then run away from you. But if you're really looking for the kill, you want to be as surprising as possible. That was pretty surprising.
Indeed, fast to fire coming into game 2 here. It's kind of like getting that halftime point right before you go to the locker room, and FlyQuest came out firing again. So they're feeling even better here. Now towards the top side, looks like they're just going to give a little bit of love to the pressure that No has for the time being, making sure he is safe from his fence scare.
Well, we'll see exactly what Meteos wants.
Do they actually want it?
I mean, he's only level 2, so he's not going to quite have... Oh, I think he hit 3 off the camp just so that they can actually go for this dive. I mean, they should have the damage for this if they can land everything.
First, so No goes for the tank first. He has the chance to dive out, but it looks like he's going to take a flash out first. What clean play! FlyQuest from bottom to top, and Meteos 1-0-1.
And that time he got the bounty off on it too. Meteos absolutely crushing this early game, almost single-handedly building his team a 1,000 gold advantage. He is
back to
feeling it.
He's still top. Ward goes out just a bit ago to keep Shiro safe now. It looks like the minion wave is pushed in. Peckinwolf's going to get it back. Svenskeren says, love for the top side. I'm going to start denying a bit bottom as he has to kind of scuttle for some action, get himself moving.
Yeah, tough matchup for the bot lane, so it's really nice that Meteos was able to go and grab them that early first blood to help kind of ease that lane. They did lose their Flash Ignite on their Alistar to do it, and C9 recognizing that they were dead held all their summoners, so the pressure still should be with C9's pushing advantage as Quan struggles to interact in this lane, where it's all range matchups and then one little cow who can't quite do too much.
Yeah, that shouldn't be too bad. I'm actually going to keep an eye on what he's levying. So yeah, he's actually double tormented soil. They want to keep this lane pushed. It's not actually going to be the E to make sure shield doesn't break. It's not going to be the Q to hold.
Jeez, 3 bounties already, 4.5 minutes.
Seriously?
Yeah, he just got the Scuttle Crab steal.
You only need 4.
Yeah, Svenskeren was a little late getting there, and Meteos was right on top of that bounty as it spawned.
Amazing.
Great game out of Meteos. And this is completely different than the kind of carry that we were seeing him out of in the quarterfinals and even the previous game, where a lot of it was about control and punishing the enemy mistakes and being able to pick up Rift Heralds that your team doesn't really have the pressure to actually be getting. And this time, he's actually just going in there and messing everyone up. His path is relatively inefficient, so you do see him down about 14 jungle CS and a CS deficit for Svenskeren. But I think with the way Kindred works, you are absolutely fine making that down payment.
Absolutely. You see this 39-31 was the CS on No's roam. A full wave ahead because of that kill in the top lane, and he's able to use that time very nicely to get down. He'll miss a few, but still be over par here on Shiro. As he gets back to lane and does
that was the fastest Aatrox I've ever seen. That was
Turn speed,
Let's
activate.
pretend that was APM. Wow, Noah's really fast. Noah's insanely fast at clicking.
Got it.
Not minion block. Not
Controlled
spaghetti code.
by a minion. Oh no, don't miss it. Got it. Harry gets the fire in there. Had to activate rapid fire just to get that shot, but they keep it safe. 40 to 46 on the bot. As the wave clears, they feel like they have it. Look at the mana on Fang. This is why they've engaged. Shots onto Keith, and that was easily played out by FlyQuest, seeing their opponents were weaker.
Right as the Ignite comes back available, they find another kill, and this time they get all the summoners out but the Ignite. Ari and Quan popping off this game.
And Keith has really been taking a hit from these. They are not going for Fang. They're going for Keith, saying take the damage out, get him off the map for as long as possible.
And to be fair, the Alistar Tristana bot lane is an old school kill lane because the Alistar can go in to start things out, and the Tristana can rocket jump on top, as you see here.
And now you even get a grenade.
And you get the reset as well once you pop that. So he can jump once more to gap close on top of anyone. And so back when Kalista was super strong, this was actually one of the kill lanes you could take into her to deal with it, as well as scaling later into the game. So, you know, if you're up against low-range marksman and Fang is not on top of his black shields, you can honestly find a lot of good looks at kills potentially.
So we'll see how many... I was going to say how many CS are pushed up on this, but none. I was like, what's going to get?
That was a really ambitious idea. I think with low mana on Pekka and a bunch of minions in the way, there's no way really to weave a Sleepy Trouble Bowl through there to set that play up. So, you know, a little bit of free time. Quan tried to make something happen. Didn't work out. No harm done.
Backs for the mid laners. Maybe Pekka stays for one more wave. He doesn't like how close it is to his turret. Or he's going to hold it. Interesting.
Surprise.
Paddle start clear.
Yeah, with no mana, you want to try and get this.
Yeah. He was like taking time, but he was just waiting for the right shot when they bundled up. So this should be a back for him. We see Meteos hanging out on the bot side. Summoners are up in the way of flashes for the side of FlyQuest, but that's it for aggression here. Fang does have Ignite if they want to turn this one around, but it looks like they might get a dive and safety.
Yeah, they actually want to use the pressure down. Fang, knowing the mark had spawned there, just went and warded it.
4 now?
That's going to be number 4.
Ooh.
Meteos on fire, 4 marks, 8 minutes in the game.
Extra 75 range to abilities and autos.
And it's going to keep going from there. And you know, C9 were aware of it, but they just couldn't do anything about it. They had the ward out. Now they're splitting focus between trying to protect their turret and trying to protect this blue buff. They're choosing the blue buff.
How much of it was worth? That is a level 6 Gragas. Bubble comes over as they don't know exactly where Peckinwolf was coming from. It looks like they've decided to use quite a few to guard their jungle and come out successful.
Yeah, Sven not wanting to blow the flash there. It's a level 5 one, and you have your ultimate available, so he could have potentially looked for the blowback into the team and try and kill the Alistar, but they go for the more reserved play, backing out and grabbing their blue buff for themselves. Can definitely understand the concern with the fact that you are down a little bit in the bot lane. Ooh.
Feels bad.
That is a big feels bad, man.
Now you know it's there. But actually, they're going to come down and make sure it's protected. That Mountain Drake is up to start. Huge. If FlyQuest could get this, you get a Mountain Drake onto Tristana, and it feels oh so very good. See if they can get more pressure on the bottom side of the map to make that happen. Not a lot of action between this mid lane. The zeros across the board. CS is quite even, and the jugglers have kind of let it be.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, you know, the impact of those nerfs on Zoe. I mean, she did lose a little bit of face damage, but a lot more of it was scaling.
Hey, Golden Glue's not dead. It worked. Well, no, I'm just kidding.
For a second, I believed you. But yeah, I mean, Zoe is usually seen as a good matchup in the control mages, which is why the Orion pick into it. Oh, that was not clean.
He's a little chaotic here with his abilities. Shockwave in, but he's actually just playing the bait for Meteos, who comes in for assist number 2. First kill for Peckinwolf.
It was so sloppy, it actually was clean, pulling Golden Glue forward to take that fight, and then Meteos is just over the wall. No, also with the priority that he has in his lane, is actually going to collapse down here and help push with the 3-man. See how much they can get done on this turret. It is 10 minutes in the game, and they have a cannon creep wave, so this might be enough to break the mid turret. Just 10 minutes into the game.
I 100% take that bait every time.
Oh, for sure.
I'm like, I'm owning my lane. Look at this. Look how good I'm doing in my lane.
Look at this idiot. He just jumped too late for his paddle star to hit the wave. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, but I have a Kindred over my shoulder.
Oh, now I have no summoners or life.
He actually, surprisingly, did not use any of his summoners there.
That's true.
I do think if he does flash, he's dead anyways, just because
here.
he had walked so far up into the lane to punish this. After all the cooldowns are, he's like, all right, I'm just going to auto-attack this guy to death and probably win this. But because Meteos is there to cover, just really punishing that over-aggression.
That is such Zoe, too. It's like...
I mean, to be fair to Golden Glue, like, it's really hard to suppress that. When someone misses all of their abilities and you have all yours up, you're thinking,
yeah,
all right, I'm about to win this.
It's true.
But, you know, you got to suppress that in competitive play and play the map correctly. You don't know where this extremely fed Kindred is, and as a result, you just give over some more gold and another turret. Now it's a 2,500 gold lead out of nowhere.
Nowhere.
Shouldn't say out of nowhere. It's been out of this Kindred the entire 11 minutes of the game.
There is an area. Meteos is giving out loans today. Looks like it's benefiting just about every lane. Cloud9 starts to make a few of their own moves. They say, let's clear out these wards, stop what snowball Meteos does have. We got to deny some of that vision. But he's already hiding on the top side of the map, inside of that Rift Herald den. Looks like he'll be able to grab it solo. See if they can make any work onto the Mountain Drake for Cloud9.
Hey. Even though we've been talking about how it's a different kind of carry game out of Meteos, the fact that it was that it's hard to get. Playing real hard to get there, Shelly. But yeah, Meteos still showing that he has the other part of his game plan down too, with the good objective control, grabbing this Rift Herald. Already grabbed one turret of the game, which, you know, that was a nice kill, but it also was still objective focus. Now he's got the mark on Deshiro and the dive coming around. Looks like they're going to call it off because they have deep vision. They spot the Gragas coming. That pink ward behind red buff just doing so much work for Meteos here. Still going to channel this, which makes sense because the turret's low enough that I don't think the Gragas can stop this 2v2. You don't need to fight it. You can just use the siege and range advantage that Kindred has from having the 4 stacks unlocked to just go in there and take this turret in front of them. I mean, Svenskeren and ult to try and bait this. You got to be careful.
Ooh. Being able to play just outside that turret range with that much damage by No, nicely executed to deliver onto Svenskeren. Now a 2v2 on that top as they push each other back. Golden Glue and Peckinwolf still holding in mid as they decide who can get up first. Back and forth around that mid turret. Still nothing happening in the bot lane, but a 4-for-0 keeps FlyQuest steadily encroaching forward on Cloud9's side of the map. It seems like they're not stopping, and here comes the rotation from Peckinwolf to bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to spill over real quick.
Maybe
top
not.
And mid. Well,
clearing.
Real quick doesn't necessarily mean in the next 10 seconds.
Well, I meant ward clearing, but yes, I understand.
Doesn't look like they might even need the help. Ever since those kills,
oh man,
Tristana does come online with pushing a little bit later on to the laning phase. Morgana and the Kai'Sa should have the advantage, but if you lose control of that lane, Tristana's no joke. And now, 13 minutes in the game, all 3 outers dropped.
Wow.
The snowball is in full effect here.
So Cloud9 doesn't really get to play with the early lead they had last game. It's all in favor of FlyQuest this time. Bit of a vice versa here. Blasted back with a buster shot. One more to come through. Bounces forward, says King Me as Airy hops out. Svenskeren's going to get a nice flash over the wall to keep himself safe at the bottom tier, second tier. And it looks like they will be able to close this off. But the little gorilla hits in and out from FlyQuest are just tearing Cloud9 apart.
Yeah, I gotta say, that was all too easy for Airy. Didn't need to blow his heal or his flash. And just being able to get the insect knockback on the buster shot means that when you get the reset from it, you can go once again and follow that flash super easily. And
that's pretty greedy farming.
Yeah, I mean, they know where he is, but he was just out of vision of that pink ward. There is a pink ward in the blue buff, which does spot what's going on with the rest of FlyQuest, but it doesn't get all the way over to the Gromp pit, I'm pretty sure. And so the path that Airy took, making sure to hug the wall as he walked up and get behind the Gromp,
definitely helped.
I can understand a little bit why Keith thinks like, okay, they're contesting the blue, that's what they're doing.
Cool, I have time to walk out.
Yeah, you think you can get that wave while they're doing that.
A whoopsie. Good cleanse there, but you're not going to be able to cleanse the after CC. Airy doesn't want it. They almost dodged the shockwave, but it does hit onto Quan. The turn of the fight is now coming in, and Shiro's in the front with the Mundo ulti on. Airy now has nowhere to run. Quan's trying to do what he can as a support to Peel as Peckinwolf tries to deliver the damage in. Golden Glue's low, and we see No start to resurrect. Can he end on the world for this one? He goes down as he's dug his own hole. And now it's going to be Cloud9 fighting back.
Disaster of a fight by FlyQuest Academy, missing abilities all over the place, which allowed C9 to collapse and punish that one, answering back with 3 kills, shrinking that gold lead just a little bit. It's a good first step back into the game. Watch this first. It's a really nice decision to go and wrap around on this play by Quan, finding the angle onto Golden Glue. And so even though he cleanses the Drowsy off, the combo's still going to come through. But that Paddle Star goes wide. Absolute, we should not miss that one, which allows the turn to start coming in. And then Sven goes onto Airy to redirect him. No has the opportunity to go for the cleanup kill here, but doesn't get the knockup, doesn't get the knockup again on the late flash, and then misses the third one as Golden Glue fancy feats his way out of there and stay alive, despite being the initial target who absorbed so much attention. The fact that they could not find those kills on the Golden Glue after missing so many abilities is tragic.
2K gold lead here for us. I should say, yeah, 2K gold lead for FlyQuest as they still hold on, but may feel a bit tempered in their actions now. Shiro building up the Sunfire cape. They'll start first here. They want to be in these fights for a long time. Killer instinct from Keith. He has the black shield on as it was going to be the crowd control stopper from Quan, and they hit Meteos. Little things now to deter FlyQuest from keeping pressure on objectives, keeping their wards forward, as Golden Glue and team are looking for any way to get their foot in the door here. 17 minutes into the game. Kind of spreading out back to lanes now. Get Aries some farm along with Peck and Wolf as we clear out the mid lane. That's 150 about for the CS of the bot lane marksman. 150s as well for his mid laners. So lanes have gone quite even. It's about how now it breaks up and who can gain control when those turrets are down. A lot of that control in the bot lane in favor of C9. Unlike a no-go. I was going to say, could Quan get here in another fight? But they quickly take him down as he goes on a wild goose chase.
Yeah, no wards in the bot side, so it's all too easy for Sven to go and wrap around on that play. And I mean, the Mundo versus the Aatrox. Aatrox wants to get a lot of sustain in once you start getting the Death Dance or something like that. It did get nerfed with some of the E changes on this patch, so you don't match up versus the Mundo quite as well if he's going to land all his cleavers. And there you see, you actually get a chance to chase down, and because he had to be in retreat mode to try and get away from Sven, he can actually trade back. Now Meteos isn't going to be able to hold this turret either.
Yeah, hello. So nice takedown. He said, we just mentioned that all those turrets are dropped for FlyQuest. Now C9 wants to try and do the same thing. A lot of standing gold to be picked up, and if they were able to drop mid and top, they would be ahead in the game currently, considering that gold. Looks like they're just scrounging things right now. FlyQuest pushing in. Big dissonance damage from Golden Glue as he may have taken a fight he doesn't overall want. Shockwave pulls Meteos back. Nicely placed as they get out ult for just attacks.
Yeah, not bad by Meteos trying to trade back. Maybe could have flashed forward to get out of that Shockwave and find the kill, but
Solidified it, maybe?
Yeah,
I like it.
It's a big commitment to go for, and I can understand not wanting to get over aggressive.
Dang. I'm kind of thinking about that, and it's so hard not to. Even if I told myself all game to not go for a play like that, I still think,
What, the flash forward?
that would have been one. Be like, oh, but just this one time.
I mean, it's tempting.
It's super tempting.
You saw what happened with
it's
Golden Glue, though.
There's so much position loss if you go down, right? You lose that person, and then there's so much more free movement for C9. Less wards to be cleared here. Sweeper on Meteos would have been down, so many factors goes into just one person being off the map for a little bit of time. That's why late game gets so strenuous and chaotic.
Yeah, I mean, you saw, talking about these over-aggressive plays that then gives the enemy a man advantage. You saw Golden Glue, that one time he walked up to auto-attack Trace and killed, and they lost their mid-turret off that. That's kind of what kicked off this snowball that C9 had since stopped rolling downhill for the most part.
We'll get some of those wards out and figure out where FlyQuest was actually trying to produce these attacks. Coming up just on 20 minutes, that means Baron's going to be a new thing to dance around. 80 carries, Airy on 2 items with 1.5 for Keith, with a rough start there, mainly by the hands of FlyQuest ganking over and over, but it looks like from bottom now, C9 works slowly towards mid and start to pepper that mid turret, but it's still healthy. And FlyQuest may look to get the engage. A mid-deep ward coming in. No turns on World Ender as they're now in a 3v2 split fight for Cloud9. Keith has to flash out. Sven Skaren's good, but he goes back towards Noah and does a bit of damage. Fang and Meteos in a 1v1 as Meteos comes out to Victor. And now C9 looks to chase this Shiro coming out of the woodwork from the bottom of the fight. Meteos with a quick dodge on the briefcase as they look to reassess from the side of FlyQuest. A very back and forth fight as they assess what abilities are up and who can actually bite onto the next fight. Both teams head away with Infernal Drake in 7 seconds.
Good decision by FlyQuest to not look for the re-engage, as C9 had walked pretty far forward in the 4v5. As I say that, though, they start wrapping
Oh
around
yeah, they're
Quan.
definitely going to come back into this one. Mundo ultimate still up as it was not used in the fight. He's going to heal, but he wants to use it
Nice
effectively.
pull.
Great hit coming in from No, and Shiro is going to be able to get himself in there, but down as Meteos comes up big on the fight with a double kill.
Man, you can just see such great shot calling and decision making out of FlyQuest there. They could have looked for the re-engage in the mid lane. They show the patience to say, no, let's go to the Infernal Drake. And they also know that C9 are going to contest it. So they go and they brush camp while Quan goes through the wraparound to the top side. And it looked a little sketchy for a second there. You saw Peckinwolf had to flash out to wait for Quan to get into position. We'll go all the way back to the start of this sequence in the mid lane. A great TP flank coming in early by Quan. And Shiro does not have TP to match, so he actually has to hoof it all the way to this fight. So you get a 4v5. And you can see right now the goal is pretty close, so they have to play this well. No gets kited out. Fang doesn't have anywhere to go, so he's going to get jumped on by Meteos. And that's the only kill they find onto the enemy support. So Shiro showing up here, knowing the enemy has used a fair amount of resources, feels like they can still contest this 4v5.
Quan.
And then just this monstrous flank while everyone else goes for the rush camp. Nice drowsy. Peckinwolf has to flash out, and then here Quan finally shows up. That finishes off Golden Glue. Shiro also gets the mutilation on him with the Grievous Wounds to make sure he can't regen up, and Golden Glue dives without getting his ultimate off in that whole situation.
It was in a pretty crazy spot too if he was able to activate it. I gotta say, Quan on this Alistar has been pretty crazy so far for the team and organizing what they're doing in the fights.
Yeah, I mean, last game also had a monstrous performance on
For sure.
Able to dissuade a bunch of the engages and make his own happen. Working for him yet again here.
Oh, my word.
Right as we sing his praises, needs a bunch of binding and damage.
Hers.
But yeah, still a great game by that Alistar play. And Quan is probably going to have to see that banned away in the next round if C9 do not find a good answer to it.
Plasma
Going for the Baron.
Just miss. Sends Garen over the wall. Vision's there, but they haven't cleared it. Peckinwolf is low. This might be a fight they want. Quan misses. His ultimate is up, but they haven't fully gone in. World Ender's down for No, and he is going to fall. What a hit! And they cast. Meteos is in a 5v1, and Lambs will spite, and if he comes out on top, he's a god. But he goes down. So just a demigod for today, taking down Golden Glue along with him.
Did get that one kill. Maybe that was what they needed to try and stay alive here as the rest of them have gone in. But there's Keith.
Peckinwolf low, a sliver of health, stays alive with the keel. Airy firing back with a buster shot. They have the damage from the outside, but he can't get more shots on the Fang to clear it out. And the damage from Svenskeren and Shiro is going to be too much as C9 again continue to skirt around fights to bring themselves back.
That was such a huge play out of Airy to be able to trade onto Keith. Let's go back to this Baron attempt. Horrible idea, all things considered. Just 23 and a half minutes in the game, not nearly as ahead as they think they are. Peckinwolf gets chained out. Quan is able to force the flash, which is nice, but No running in there with only like a quarter of the World Ender charged up is terrible. And then the ultimate by Meteos is almost in time to keep him alive, but doesn't quite work out. But two big things here. One, the fact that the challenging smite burn was able to finish off Golden Glue. And then number two, you see him get bound there by Peckinwolf, but the Pulverize keeps him alive, and then the jump heal keeps him alive too. So Keith's decision to follow up on that binding just gets massively punished. And that is what pulls them off the Baron buff and keeps FlyQuest in this game.
Crazy, crazy stuff.
Two split-second moments there that got the two kills on the backline carries of C9.
700 gold, the difference, it just changes between 700 and 800 right now. As you can see on the board, who actually holds that gold. Look at that, 8,200 for No. Shiro again, 9,500, having a great game for himself. See if he can pull it out in the victory for C9 this time. Airy, Quan, and No stand tall in mid lane as Peckinwolf tries to get the pushes down, but C9 stands as a team looking to drop these structures.
You can still feel the power of C9's team comp coming back down to 1,000 gold only and able to pressure mid lane with it. It's so hard for FlyQuest to find a target to go onto if they're five-man balled up like this. It is on Quan to find a number of flanks and engages, which has done, but it's a tall order to ask someone to do that multiple times in a game.
Peckinwolf currently the highest level in the game. 104, 222 CS. You may hit that 16 first as well. Doesn't really matter if you get to level 2 ultimate. Just more ability power for the other ones between those levels. So we reach 25 minutes. wards clear towards the top side as the damage begins to go back and forth. It's interesting. I was going to say interesting with teleports up, but they're not up. And that's why we see the mid laners hanging out here with the teams in mid lane.
Yeah. Oh, nice. See if he actually tries to follow up on it.
Block.
And I think this is just due to No's TP not being up yet. They're willing to take these kind of ARAM-y 5v5 situations until they get the map pressure back.
They run away now.
We'll see if he's actually able to continue pressuring.
Oh, yeah, they have to go bot.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to go and clear that wave. No TP available, and during that time, we'll see if FlyQuest want to pressure with the Baron buff. Like we're saying, no down a level on Shiro 2 after that wave makes it very difficult for the Aatrox to have side lane pressure for the rest of this game. We might see a lot more grouped up pushing if this is the situation they're going to be in.
So he tries to prune the wave just a little bit. Now we see Shiro taking the long walk towards Baron. It's already towards half, and he hasn't made it even halfway through the blue side jungle. Svenskeren over the wall. It's Keith is going to steal it. No, Keith actually takes down Quan. Sorry. Baron goes to Svenskeren. Still is C9. Grab it in the fury. And the chaos of Baron. This is huge for Cloud9 as they start to push down mid. They didn't even Shiro for the fight. Svenskeren comes up huge with the black shield from Fang. And now they're trying to go onto the mid-tier turret. They should be able to drop this quite fast. How can FlyQuest respond?
I don't know if they can, Riv. They have such a strong 5v5 team comp with this front line able to stand in front with the shields as well. This looks like it's going to be an inhibitor dropping for sure. Let's see what else they can get with it.
Slowly happening, trying to get that black shield on the front line. No, a little too close for comfort. In goes Keith, out goes Keith as he flashes in, or hits in with that killer instinct and flashes out. Quan goes down again as he was first in the Baron fight, so he's up and down consistently here. Meteos falls. Is this the time when C9 just goes straight for the Nexus as they drop FlyQuest members one after the other? Seems like playing it safe may be the way as they exit the base. However, 10 to 10, 28 minutes on the clock. Peckenwolf tries to hit a few finishing touches as C9 leaves the base.
Yeah, but the gold lead finally getting back completely into C9's control now. 5K gold advantage, and just a couple misplays out of FlyQuest there. No had previously burned his ultimate in that bit of a Baron standoff moment, so he didn't have it for when he got caught out of position. Had to flash out. Multiple people flash in. Meteos off on the flank trying to get damage in. We'll go all the way back to the Baron first.
Yeah.
Quan ulted way too soon because he wanted to tank for the team, but you got to let No do most of the tanking so you have your ult available to go over the wall early. The Morgana Black Shield is able to allow Svenskeren to not get punted out, not like it would have worked with a dead Alistar anyways. And it's an easy kill onto Quan as a result, and you also see No there with his World Ender ticking down. Ends. Now he no longer has his primary defensive tool available to try and stay alive during this siege, so as they continue going, he's eventually going to get hit by a binding, which kind of puts FlyQuest in full retreat mode. And any second now, that binding will land. Dun, 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 dun. There it is. And now Meteos off on the flank wants to try and get some damage in while they tunnel on finishing No off, but Quan with his ult still not available, having burned it, goes down. Then Meteos CC'd and dies during his op, not actually able to drop his ultimate as well, so a bunch of the mistakes there by FlyQuest punishes them.
I wonder what Kaisa player calls are like. I hit it going! It's just like instant. It's like, wait, what? What are you doing? It flashes out. Oh, okay, you're safe
People
now.
just got to be ready to go. They know that you can jump into the fight, so you don't have time to communicate.
Well, you don't look like a Rammus. I'm not sure you're going to be going in. 5,000 gold now for FlyQuest, or for C9 as they just strangle FlyQuest out of that mid-game opportunity. Really start bringing the fights full force here. A bit of it as well. FlyQuest was trying to activate too many fights, feeling too comfortable. The C9 started to absorb very well, and they patiently take these turrets down without really instigating too much of a fight. Able to now take down the inhibitor. They may be forced into that fight if FlyQuest wants to engage.
Yeah, it looks like they have a hard time going, though. Like we said, if Quan's not able to find a flank, it's very hard to go through the front door of C9's comp. And now Quan caught out of position again.
Yep, shockwave onto him, and finishing touches come through from the 5 members, and No is going to be the next one. World Ender's on as he continues the fight, and he is going to be respawning now. Just waiting to come back up as Keith. He cannot deliver the damage when he takes down No. Meteos is falling, and it looks like Cloud9 will get that win they wanted in the second game. They have one more Nexus turret before they find the Nexus. And Peckenwolf is going to do everything he can as he is forced to watch on as the Nexus falls. 30 minutes in, we have a series. Cloud9 bring it 1-1.
It's what we're used to seeing in Academy. Back and forth series. C9 answering back after what was a pretty disastrous start to the game. If you cast your mind back, Meteos had a great start, finding early kills in both side lanes. 4 marks to 8 minutes, gets both kills in side lanes, also able to grab the Rift Herald, gets another kill in mid lane at 10 minutes, and drops the mid turret. And through all that, with their bot lane also finding solo kills, C9 found their way back.
Absolutely crazy stuff for the second game, and it needs to happen, especially in game 2. If game 1 was something that happened in the fashion it did for C9, you need this confidence. You can't say, oh, one more, then you're like, what are we doing wrong? You want that reassurance that you have corrected and righted the ship coming into game 2, and you want to see those results.
Yeah, I think like that's a huge bounce back game. The fact that you're not staring down the barrel of a elimination match, but also the fact that you came back in the game. It wasn't like, oh, we instantly just bounced back and crushed them. You did fall behind. You see that FlyQuest is the team to be feared for their early game and their, for the most part, macro control, but then they started tunneling a lot around Baron buff, which kind of hurt them. I think that was a big problem, as well as just mechanically in fights. They misplayed to the point where it becomes very hard to win those consistently.
Yeah, well, C9 prevents the 3-0 this time around, and they're looking for the victory as they move on with this game 2 win. For more on that Cloud9 victory, let's send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. And what a game we had, back and forth the whole time. We were pretty confident at a certain point that the curse was in effect. Meteos, an insane early game, just actually smashed on Kindred.
Yeah, I think Meteos had pretty much like the best opening possible you can get on Kindred. He had like 4 marks at an insanely early time.
8 minutes.
Yeah, 8 minutes, which is like pretty much unheard of in competitive play. So, yeah, I mean, it just started off with this level 2 gank bottom.
Level 3 gank top.
That's actually just, I think what Sven and Mithy used to say is they call it map surfing in solo queue. That's what this guy was doing this whole game. Just running from top to bottom, killing everyone. So feels pretty bad for Cloud9, but yeah, with Kindred snowballing, it's usually pretty scary, but somehow they manage to pull back in this game.
Yeah, Golden Glue goes aggressive, but at that time, Sven Scaren's already walking back to his jungle, so suddenly Meteos is here, there's another one picked up, and constant.
Also, each of those ganks we just showed took him about 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds of time commitment. They were so efficient and easy, and you could get just right back to farming away.
Yep. That right there, just to interject, that's the trademark Meteos slouch.
Yeah. You know, whenever Meteos is slouching in his chair, like he's in the zone and he's pretty much ready to win the game, but I guess maybe he stopped slouching at some point this game because they ended up throwing.
Yeah, I mean, in the mid game, there was that team fight around mid lane where he was coming from base. 3 members of his team go down to Cloud9. Cloud9 starts getting that gold coming back, and they have some pretty good engages.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely incredible stuff. We have the replay where C9's able to, not even with great team fighting, but they get over the wall for the Baron steal.
Oh, man. This is a tilter, too, because whenever you talk to Meteos, he's always talking about how the team needs to get the enemy jungler zoned out or something like that from the Baron, but there's a black shield on the enemy team, plus Alistar actually got binded at the wall beforehand anyway, so there's no way they can keep Sven Scaren out.
Yeah.
And he just wins the smite fight by like 73 HP.
Early smite, 70 health, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall it was still a good call by FlyQuest. They knew that they're getting outscaled with their team comp, so they had to either go for like this risky Baron play or just kind of slowly lose the game. So I think overall it was just a good try, but it wasn't good enough, so.
I appreciated there was the mind game as well of like, you know, Kindred can ult the Baron. So like, are they going to ult or are they going to smite? Like, what's Meteos going to choose? He chose smite. Unfortunately, that was too early, but Sven was like ready to go. Like, it seemed like he was able to react in time. I thought that was just kind of like, that's just the mind game where you're like, I got to go over the wall. And I'm like, am I getting baited? Is this a one-way trip or not?
Yeah, some of the situations where the person attempting to steal the Baron actually feels more comfortable. And this time, it's Sven Scaren coming in. He has Black Shield on him with Gragas. His team is the better team fighting team. They're already flanking around. They already chunked out members of FlyQuest. So you actually feel more calm in that situation, I feel like, as a jungler coming in to steal. And the pressure is mostly on Meteos.
Yeah, I think that whenever you're the team that's like, oh man, we really need to get this Baron or we're going to lose the game, it's always more pressure on you as a jungler to get the smite. And like, it's just really intense. But usually if you're the team that's going to win the team fight after anyways, you're like, okay, well, if I miss the smite,
we got it.
like if I miss the smite, I mean, whatever, we're going to get this team fight and probably win the game anyways. So it's definitely more pressure on Meteos there.
Yeah, and of course, pressure on FlyQuest overall. It seemed like you were talking about this a lot, sort of off camera, that it looked like C9's comp was going to keep out scaling. We saw the Mundo Aatrox 1v1 after like level 11 was very obviously Mundo favored. Something that we saw you guys, of course, do in Game 5 as well. So that's very quickly becoming a matchup to look for. 8-16, of course, nerfs some of Aatrox's early game a little bit to make that a bit easier to sort of stomach. You were talking about Kai'Sa being a really good late game champion as well, even despite the fact that the Tristana started on 2 kills and Keith started like 1 and 3 on the champion. So there seemed to be a timer, and FlyQuest had to just force something.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a good job again, like with their early game. They got the early game they wanted. They had the Kindred pick snowballing. They had all the tools, but I think they had like one really weird team fight mid where they kind of threw their lead, and after that it was kind of just a snowball effect where Cloud9 could just like scrape back together, and they just had a way better team fight comp, so it's a lot easier for them.
That being said, there are definitely some improvements for Cloud9, especially like Fang's individual play there. The timing with his black shields, always pretty much slow with those, so they can definitely clean some things up for this series.
Yeah.
Yep. So seeing these games play out now, with the curse obviously broken, C9 can in fact win playoff games in Academy. Where do you see it going from here? Do you still stick with the C9 is the better team on paper and they'll close it out, or has it been close enough that it's really either way?
Well, I mean, again, every single series is going to Game 5 for whatever reason.
You're
so
still going there.
It kind of just feels like all the Academy teams are like, hey, you want this game? Yeah, sure, I'll give you this game. Like, let's just go to Game 5 every time. So
Medios was like, no takebacks this game. You said it was mine. I'm
yeah.
up 5-0.
yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a pretty close set. It doesn't look like any team is, you know, hard winning in any really like macro play or whatever. It's just kind of a back and forth like slugfest every game. So
Who takes Game 3? To both of you.
Cloud9.
Cloud9?
probably Cloud9.
Cloud9?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, analysts has votes for Cloud9 in Game 3. We'll see if they do it. We are all tied up, and we look forward to that Game 3. Don't touch the browser. Be back right after the break.
The turn of the fight is now coming in, and Shiro's in the front with the Mundo ulti on. Airy now has nowhere to run. Quan's trying to do what he can as a support to Peel, as Peckinwolf tries to deliver the damage in. Golden Glue's low, and we see No start to resurrect. Can he end on the world for this one? He goes down as he's dug his own hole.
Play for fight, play for fight. I'm looking for still multi. Hey, look at me. I'm a little far. Look at Ori.
Oi. I got her. Yeah. Mundo.
World Ender's down for No, and he is going to fall. What a hit! And the cast, Medios is in a 5v1, and Lambs was fighting. If he comes out on top, he's a god. But he goes down. Trying to get that black shield on the front line. No, a little too close for comfort. In goes Keith. Out goes Keith as he flashes in. Or hits in with that killer instinct and flashes out. Quan goes down again as he was first in the Baron fight.